Okay, that was Chainsaw Man, Season 1, Episode 9. Kobeni, not dead.
I am so glad that it occurred to me during the intro for this episode that we don't even know what devil Kobeni has a contract with. And as I was watching the outro, I started thinking about why we were speculating who was actually dead and who wasn't dead and what evidence we had foreshadowing that character could leave the story. Like, we felt that for Himeno, we kind of had some of those lines that looking back on, like, oh, you better come over for breakfast and bring the fiend too. And I started thinking about Kobeni, and I was like, okay, so we don't have the contract. But then I realized Arai had something Kobeni didn't. Arai had a moment with Denji, almost, I would say, as an apology moment as he was helping Denji puke.
Yeah.
Kobeni hasn't apologized yet.
You're right.
So I'm like, okay, now things are linking up to what evidence or foreshadowing we had for different characters being alive and dead here.
Yeah. Dude, the thing that is, like, blowing me away about this show so far is, like, the writing choices, you know? It's not like, I think in another anime, it could have spent the whole fight on Chainsaw Man versus Sword Man, and that kind of just being it, because they came face to face.
Animated fight.
Yeah, and what they gave us in that little interaction was really well animated and really well done, but, like, the takeaways from this episode are so massive, and the information that was revealed to us about Makima, I think we got so much, but not enough.
But not just like a tease
to solidify anything. Like, just enough to make us go crazy with theory crafting what her powers are. But
how many contracts she has and what those contracts actually are. Like,
I wanted to bring that up because I think that I am predisposed to imagine people have contracts or make agreements with one thing, and that's just not how this show is. It's not how this universe is. There are people seemingly who can who have enough power, will, strength, whatever, fear, emotion that lets them make contracts with several devils that I can't confidently say I understand what devils they are yet, but
or how their power would actually work. Like here, when Makima is basically taking the life force of one and using it in a voodoo-esque way to inflict this curse onto this other person once the name is said. If we didn't have the sword with Aki, I would have guessed that this was the curse devil, you know? Which it could be, right? How did Aki get the sword?
That's true.
Makima probably gave... We speculated, like, how did Aki get this physical sword? Was it something given to him by public safety? You know, maybe it is a shared contract. Both of them have a contract with the cursed devil.
I agree that that's, like, a possibility and could be cool. And I could see the cursed devil being used in this sense. But there's something so inherently different with Makima than any other character in this show. And that is for a reason that is either the curse that they've agreed with or the devil they've made an agreement with, or Makima herself, that she doesn't have to give something from herself to use the power. And she is somehow granted the privilege of bestowing that trade or that sacrifice and putting that on somebody else. Like,
she's able to give the fingernail from someone else.
Dude. Sawatari, I believe her name was. Like, when I first saw that she got to use that huge snake and all that she lost was a fingernail.
Like Himeno lost an eye for just a ghost hand.
I'm like, oh my god, Sawatari is obviously, like, one of the most OP characters we've met so far. And then you go over to Makima, and she doesn't lose anything. She's able to, like, just put that on another person. And immediately, I'm thinking Death Note. Like, you have
to have the whole full name.
You have to have the whole full name, and you're getting this person to say it. And when they say it, they are conjuring something or some type of contract up with, I think, a devil that allows a substitution of life or a god of death, for an example. It
like
could,
a name devil or something.
It could
because
be
there's
a
so
name
much
devil.
power and if
names.
there's in lore, there's like oftentimes like if you see a creature like a fae creature, a fairy, and you let them know your name, that's dangerous.
Yeah, I am trying to understand how much you could potentially stack contracts with devils like you would Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and like you're trying to like stack up moves, right? Because one question that you have to ask is, how does Makima have these names? Are the crows there for a reason? Can she see through the crows?
Does she have a contract with the crow devil?
Does she have Shikigami eyes through crows that she's able to see people's names while viewing from afar? Because if you're able to have that contract, then you're able to understand the name, get a picture of the person, and get this person to say their name. I don't know.
Does she have this universal ability to use all of her contracts, but through someone else losing parts of their own body?
I don't know.
Or is she inhuman, basically, because she's built as this husk that all of her has been dedicated or donated to these contracts and agreements, that she's basically inhuman now, and that's why she doesn't die?
I don't know, because like how I first took it was that her real body wasn't here, and then I'm like, oh, does she have so many contracts offered up that in some storage container there are a medical staff just keeping a heart alone alive? And because she's technically alive and has made all these like obscene contracts, she's able to have a body out in the physical world as well that is apart from her. I don't know. Like,
what if each of these decoy bodies have a real part of her, and that's where the contracts are able to be used from? Like, there's so many ways that this could go.
Really?
And what if it's to the point where she doesn't die because there's a devil that she has a contract with, that why would they win if she's dead? It seems like there's a possibility there that the devil would want... If you had a sweet gig, like enough to have a contract, and you were like, I'm getting something out of this, you wouldn't necessarily just bat an eye at losing out on this contract.
Yeah. How I imagine Makima's contracts, if I try to compare it in universe to something, the closest I can think is Denji. And I know that's a weird comparison, but in every other contract, we see, sure, it's an agreement, but it's give and take, and we've seen it in action. But in Denji and Pochita, it seemed like a consensual agreement where both people are benefiting from this transaction. And when it comes to Makima, from what we've seen,
we haven't seen her lose anything.
And the only idea I can get, if she doesn't have to lose anything and she can take it out on somebody else, whoever she chooses, there has to be a mutual respect between her and whatever devil this is, you know.
That, or maybe all of the devils are... Maybe there's one devil that can cause this kind of transference of the act of taking.
Yeah.
But maybe all of them are okay with it through using this one devil's ability. Like, it could be that she has all these different contracts, but they normally would take from her. But because she has this one devil contract, no matter what, it's not taken from her. Like, maybe there's one that, like, literally protects her body.
We know that the Fox Devil would give off different, like, bits based off of their their person's appearance that they're making a contract with.
Like, the person that they have the contract
obviously
with
devils have a say in like how the contract goes, you know, and can have preferences and ideals. But it's so interesting when it comes to Makima, because I'm thinking of all these potential outcomes as if she's human, because that's what I'm assuming right now. They could pull something where she is something that is akin to Denji or akin to a fiend, even though fiends can't make contracts. Like, they could say she's like a whole nother... They could say she's an angel. We have devils, you know?
And we have seen in the opening that there are some Halo's angel wings.
And I mean, wouldn't it be a two sides of the same coin, that if you make a contract with the devil and you are...
make a contract with an angel.
Yeah, but I mean, more specifically, if you're making a contract with the devil at the cost of your own being, then the opposite side of that coin could be making a contract with an angel at the cost of somebody else's being who has done wrong. Because I think...
someone who... I guess if you were going for a biblical sense of devils and angels, they'd already be going to hell.
Yeah. exactly. And that it could give a second motive for why Makima got these people out of death row or life sentences, right? Like it could, one, because she doesn't want to, like she wants to kill the worst of the worst if she has to kill anybody, but maybe it is a righteous, like,
so Makima is Light Yagami.
There are a lot of similarities I could see if they chose to go that route, like with the contract with the god of death kind of thing, you know? Oh, dude, that I'm gonna be up all night thinking about Makima, but I will be up all morning thinking about Kobeni and how Kobeni might be my favorite character in any anime, and Kobeni snapped, and I don't want Kobeni to be a devil hunter anymore. I want Kobeni to live a peaceful life because she's pure and innocent and nothing should happen to her.
We still don't know what contract Kobeni has, and the only evidence I have toward anything is that she has such quick agility and quick movements, and the word that was used to describe her by Swordman was monkey-like.
Yeah.
So what if she has a contract with the monkey devil and she gets an extra agility bonus?
I could see that.
From that.
Because her move to cut off the dude's gun was like very like fluid and like
that,
instant.
and she wasn't trained in a way to, like, I highly doubt her parents trained her to move so fluidly as a child before either being a prostitute or being public safety. So this might be... Also, where is she finding these kitchen knives?
Dude.
Did she bring that with her from the hotel?
The kitchen knife devil? The Gordon Ramsay devil? I don't know.
The chef devil.
The chef devil? I love her expressions. That's my for a second, I thought that she like used her feet to cut off the dude's hand. That wouldn't make any sense though. But she's so cool, dude. Her like worried and anxious and nervous expressions while she's killing people is so entertaining. It's so good.
All I could think when you said that we were saying the chef devil and all that is I started thinking to myself, since obviously we can have like inanimate objects that people are scared of, I started thinking, what's the scariest thing that a chef uses? That I often watch Food Network. So, and I could, like, a mandolin.
I was thinking the same thing. That's so funny. Mandolin devil.
Guillotine devil.
I wonder, okay, mandolin devil. I don't know if this is a perfect example, but I wonder if you could, like, get by on the nuance that, two devils are technically one because they share the same word, like the mandolin devil as like a chef's like you know utensil, or the mandolin devil as the instrument. Like maybe you can get like a 2-for-1.
Oh, now I have a disgusting thought. You know how the snake takes the fingernail and like everyone, the mandolin would probably just slowly shave off your fingertips.
Probably not, but because it seems like a more like it doesn't matter like what devil is you're giving to, it's like in its own unique like disappearing way.
I know, but that's still all I could think of now. Okay, anyway, Kobeni, super awesome.
I love Kobeni, dude.
We kind of went right to Makima after I think you briefly said that...
How could I not?
Right, how could you not want to talk about Makima?
Yeah.
But I wanted to say one thing about why I liked that there wasn't a super epic long fight scene here between Chainsaw and Swordman, is because there were other people involved and there were other people around. And I don't think we've seen any evidence that Denji is willing to go willy-nilly when there's other people around.
That's true.
Like, yes, he did, with that guy in the car, still throw the car, but the guy was able to get out. And he did, you know, kind of tell that one lady to run. And then here, he decides to kind of not fight the Swordman right away because the Swordman has these two humans next to him. And then he, obviously, Denji takes the guy and is like, yeah, see, this is your buddy.
Yeah.
Because to Denji, he's like, this is your buddy. There's no way. And there's an innocence there and a sweetness there.
Yeah.
That
Even
I
though
think
that you're bad guys.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that is just rounds out Denji's character, that he's not this super righteous hero character, but he's not a bad dude with a no conscience. Like,
I think he makes a very lovable protagonist because of all of his faults and all of his uneducation ends up resulting in somebody who's somehow blissfully ignorant in a positive way, like in an innocent way, even though it's the opposite of innocent. I don't know. It's really
I just think
bizarre.
that it's really cute that he is this kind of has these he has flaws, but then he also has like points to him that kind of make you remember that he's had a really sucky life and he doesn't really know any differently. And then there's also the part of him that's like, I don't care what happens to other people, but like he does care what happens to other people. He's kind of like, if we're getting angels and devils, and Denji went from innocent human that was hurt by other people that is now mixed with a devil, he kind of really embodies that really well.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm thinking about how Swordman defiled Denji just like he did Aki. Like, and like...
cut them right... As soon as Denji grabbed that other guy, I was like, we're talking about his grandfather was the Yakuza man that was willing to sacrifice you. I don't think they care that much about one guy.
Isn't it so funny that this anime is leaning into the trope of that oh, I'm a big sword man in anime and I'm just gonna like go really fast and cut you in half. It's happened twice now, and like we saw this one coming. I wonder
because he even got in the position.
Yeah. I wonder in a similar vein if we're ever gonna see Denji like rev up like Sonic the Hedgehog like spinning, and like he's able to like use his momentum or like built up power revving up to like get a burst of speed. I don't know. I think it's so interesting.
For Denji to heal right now, we need his lower half, right? Yeah, we need
Power
the lower half
to
be put together. He needs to be in a hospital. But okay, yeah, I have two things I want to talk about. Where did the fiends go?
Yeah. I think that's
Where did all the non-humans apparently ran away except Denji, I guess?
It doesn't seem like they were taken, and it seems like in a fiend's world.
If you can't win, why would you fight?
Yeah, I want to just run away.
Yeah, because I feel like what we've been told about the devils is a lot of it is for gain for themselves. Like, they're very self-centered creatures. Like, if I get something out of this, then I'll stay. And for power, the only reason she put herself in harm's way is because Meowie was involved.
Well, I was gonna say, my first thought was where power went was, like, obviously Meowie needs to be fed at a certain time.
Yeah,
of day.
like,
you don't want to mess that up.
This is Meowie's dinner time. Sorry.
But when they brought up the other fiends, too, I'm like, I don't know. I have no idea. Part of me wants to know if you fuck up and become a fiend and you make the choice to become a fiend, can you never go back?
Like, once you've gotten into this body, this corpse,
you can't like go back to just being the blood devil? Are you stuck being a fiend? You know, like wouldn't you? I don't know. Like, why would you rather be a fiend than a devil if you can't make any contracts either? It seems like it might be a nerf.
I think there's an entertainment value.
Oh, definitely. I agree there.
So I think if you're focused on enjoying your life in the way that it seems Power is, it makes sense that Power was like, I want to do whatever I want, and this is entertaining.
Do you think Himeno was the person gave the last of herself to use the chainsaw?
Mm-hmm. That's the second thing I wanted to talk about, was that, I mean, how purposeful and beautiful was that we saw Himeno do that in the hotel, use the ghost hands. She was willing to sacrifice Denji. She was willing for Denji to die in that moment.
Yeah.
And then she realized, you know, after seeing what Aki was willing to do, stepping in front of that knife, she revved up the chainsaw. And here, that being her last thing she did, that was the last thing. Her ghost devil did not work. So the last thing she could do, because once she's gone, how does she know they're not going to just finish Aki off?
Yeah.
The last thing she could do was get Denji into the battle. Because
she knows Denji doesn't want to owe anybody shit.
Yeah, exactly.
So she's like, I'm not going to... I could imagine Denji being like, Himeno gave her life for this. I don't want to owe her that shit. I got to protect Aki right now. One of my last things is the inclusion of trying to be at a temple at a high altitude for Makima, which I think goes into
your theory of the angels.
Yeah, I think that's another drop in the bucket of either an angel or just being closer to God or heaven or angels.
Closer, but also a very reverent space.
Yeah. I don't know why there were big holes in the bodies of these people who tried to kill Makima, but I don't know if I want to see what caused the big holes, you know?
I think curiosity will probably get you on that, and you will want to see it.
And last I have is that 1, 2, and 3 are being absorbed by Makima's group 4, right?
Which kind of solidifies for me that a lot of the people that we saw dead are in fact dead.
And now we're gonna get like our more finalized cast of
Yes.
friends and family.
But
God,
I'm
Kobeni's so cool.
major bummed. Like, I think Himeno's exit was great narratively, how they did it. It was beautiful. It was sad. It was everything you want from a death of a character.
Yeah.
But Arai, I don't know. Like, okay, yes, he died for
he went out like
Kobeni.
a badass, dude.
Maybe Kobeni needed this. Maybe that was like what Kobeni needed, was to see that he stepped in front of that bullet for her, and you know, she can't just and she apologized here to Denji. Like, maybe that's what Kobeni needed to get more confident and to stay in this job. But I'm like, we got a beautiful, amazing goodbye death to Himeno, and
Yeah.
I feel like Arai is the one character out of the rest of the cast of characters that I'm like, maybe he's magically alive, even though he got shot in the neck and the head.
I don't think he is, but it was a fucking way to go out. And when we saw Kobeni show up and just like standing there, I was like beyond happy.
And how she's basically holding Denji's upper body
Yeah.
now, like, almost like a small dog protecting their owner or something. It was just like really cute. Like, I don't mean in that way. I just mean like this creature that has now like brought him back into this, you know, in a protective position, and she's just gonna sit there and protect him and shield him the best because she's the only one that can.
She is amazing. Best girl.
What's she gonna do when she finds out about him, you know?
I don't know. No idea.
How many others are gonna resign?
Or try to.
resign.
We got to meet Tendo and Kurose, I believe.
Yes, they both have lovely scars on their face.
It looks like you put their heads together and then cut across their face and then separated them, because the areas of their face where they don't have the scar are exactly symmetrical.
Wouldn't that be wild if like that's how they got their scars, is they happen to be standing next to each other on like completely the same plane, and then they were sliced?
It'd be kind of badass.
The guy that resigned also had like 2 massive scars on his face too.
Yeah.
So maybe that's just like what happens. Eventually, I guess Aki will probably, surprised he doesn't already have a scar on his face, if that's kind of the uniform. It's part of the uniform.
The Fox Devil would never allow it.
Yes. Honestly, if
cute.
someone was about to attack Aki's face, maybe the Fox Devil would act on their own because they love Aki's face.
I think so.
Yeah.
You good?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we hope to see you next time. It seems like it might be a nerf. It seems like it might be a nerf. It seems like it might be a nerf.
It seems like it might be a nerf.